Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome and thank you for joining us. We are live at the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts for the inaugural US InCabin event. My name is Carl Anthony, the editor and founder of AutoVision News, and a longtime media partner of Sense Media, who organizes AutoSense and InCabin. Joining us today is Gil Elbaz, co-founder and CTO of Datagen. Gil is Datagen's CTO and founder, leading a team of over 100 strong, fully focused on synthetic data. They're based in Tel Aviv. Now, Gil received his master's from the Technion, and Gil's thesis research was focused on 3D computer vision and has been published at CVPR, the top computer vision research conference in the world. Gil also has a background working in the defense industry on geometric and machine learning algorithms development. He brings all of that experience now to the automotive world. Gil, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Gil, in your own words, we hear a lot about synthetic data. You hear that term all the time now. But in your own words, what is synthetic data?
It's a great question. So at a high level, right, in order to develop these amazing AI-based systems and algorithms, you need an enormous amount of visual data, meaning images, IR, viz, or even sensor data, right?
Right.
And you need all of the metadata together with that, meaning you want to know who's in the vehicle, where they're looking, if they're asleep or awake.
Yes.
Now, one way of going about this is gathering the data manually. So bringing in actors into the vehicle and capturing those through sensors, and then annotating that manually and really defining where and what is in each scene. Now that's a really operationally intensive process, of course.
Sure.
And the other option, or a maybe preferred option, right, is to take a technological approach and to actually generate this data using computer graphics, simulation, algorithms, and a lot of very, very high quality engineering. You can actually generate this data at scale with all of the ground truth, all of the metadata infused with it together.
Yes. So, Gil, taking that definition, going down a little deeper, how can synthetic data, what's the relevance to players in the automotive space?
Definitely. So in the automotive space especially, we're focusing on people, right, in the in-cabin of the automotive. And people are very, very hard to capture at scale with no biases, with no privacy issues. And there are a lot of edge cases that we want to capture as well.
Right.
And so in order to scale up this data collection and data gathering operation, you really need to think about a data strategy that is more holistic, that allows you to generate these edge cases, generate 100,000 people in the vehicle, and test where the algorithms are better, where they're less good, and where they need improvement.
Right. This is maybe the big question, if you will, but is synthetic data going to go mainstream in 2023, or how far away are we from this being more mainstream?
Yeah, I think that the technology has progressed in an incredible way. If we see kind of the trends going, the graphics capabilities in the world, really Hollywood level graphics, have improved and have reached photorealistic quality, meaning you can't differentiate between them and the real world. Compute cost has gone down to the level that this makes sense, and the deep learning algorithms have reached the level where they need an enormous amount of data to be successful, but they can provide amazing results. And so these different trends coming together really enable synthetic data to take off. This year, we're going to see synthetic data explode and really become super mainstream, be the main method of gathering data and infusing data into these systems.
Gil, when we have a high-end synthetic data solution, what is crucial? What has to happen for that to work?
Yeah, I think that there is one big part that I think is very, very important and is not easy to do. And that's really to scale it up. So you want high quality, right? You want high quality, it's a given. You want things to have no privacy issues, no bias issues. There's a lot of benefits, but the one thing that's really hard is to scale. Scale up the variance, scale up the control. And so Datagen is really focused on creating large scale scenarios of multiple people in the vehicle, children, different edge cases like people falling asleep, people having seizures, all of these things we know how to generate at scale. And that's really one of the big challenges and benefits.
Gil, when you're operating at scale like this, what are some of the challenges and maybe even the pitfalls of synthetic data?
Definitely. So one of the big challenges, of course, is really covering all of the edge cases, right?
Yep.
Covering everything. And it's not a simple task, right? You need not only to be able to cover the edge cases to deal with this,
Yep.
but you need to also be able to react quickly.
Yes.
And so one of the really important parts, and I, really focused our team on this, is to be able to react quickly if there is let's say an OEM or a tier one that needs additional data for testing their algorithms, right?
Sure.
And there's an edge case that we don't yet have. We know how to turn that around extremely quickly. So we have a robust team and also algorithms that do a lot of the heavy lifting for us.
Right. With synthetic data, we always have a conversation around ethics and demographic fairness. What is the relationship between including all demographics in synthetic data? What's the relationship there?
Yeah, synthetic data really puts the control back in the hands of the engineer.
Sure.
So if through the manual process, you get what you get and you do the best you can, but it's not necessarily going to be equal distribution. Here, the engineer, the computer vision engineer, has the control over the data itself.
Right.
And so they can actually generate data with equal distributions of the different ages, genders, ethnicities.
Sure.
And if the algorithms are, let's say, performing less well on some of these demographics, they can generate even more of that specific demographic to receive better performance and kind of equal out the performance level.
Which is just so fascinating, Gil. And another question here that I want to cover, because I think it's interesting and important. So how does Datagen handle the various camera and sensor technologies that are across the whole of the automotive industry?
Yeah, this is a great point. One of the big challenges is IR, because everyone has their own IR system.
Right.
There's not one IR device, right? And so, for example, for some of the folks, the IR system sees the seatbelt and sees it as completely black,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And others, it's extremely reflective.
Yep.
Same with the hair, specularity of the skin, eyes, etc.
Yep.
And so, in order for us to really provide a high quality solution, we actually tune our IR sensors to the customer at hand.
Oh, cool.
And so they get their own very specific configuration with over 100 different parameters that allow them to receive exactly their IR system. They give us the physics information, samples from their actual device, and we know how to simulate that at scale with high quality.
That's awesome. Being here, Gil, at InCabin, what are some of the key takeaways for you before the show concludes?
I think that the biggest takeaway is just seeing people in person is so important.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to meet with folks that we've been talking on Zoom with for a long time. And just getting the chance to sit with them, ask them technical questions, guide them, all of these things. I think that is really, really key. And it's been a blast. It's really been a pleasure to be here.
Gil, before we close our interview here, in your bio, we talk about you being co-founder and CTO of Datagen. How did you come up with this idea for Datagen? How did you think of this? What was your inspiration?
Yeah, honestly, I was really looking at the computer vision space and I was really frustrated. I was frustrated that it was so intensive and so long to get the data that I actually needed. I really felt like if I had the data I needed, it would be relatively doable to create good solutions.
Absolutely.
And so that really put me on the path towards just generating my own synthetic data. I started playing around with it, creating a small amount of synthetic data, and then a light bulb kind of switched. And I was like, wait, what if we invest a lot of resources in this? What if we push this forward over a number of years and really create a robust technological solution? And when we had that click, we actually started selling data pretty early on. We saw that there was a need, but only the big top tech companies had kind of the ability to put money on the table and start working with it early on in 2017, 2018 even. And so, we started working with the big folks, and now it's become more and more mainstream. The automotive space is an incredible space that's perfectly fit for simulated synthetic data at scale. Absolutely. And Datagen, of course, is happy to provide that.
Absolutely. Gil, you head home to Tel Aviv here. Tell us a little bit about the city. Tell us about Tel Aviv.
Oh, Tel Aviv is just so much fun, so much fun. We're on the beach, on the water.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful scenery, a lot of bars, fun places, delicious food, and, great people. And if you're ever in the area, we're more than happy to host you.
Let's put something on the calendar. Gil, from all of us here at AutoVision News and InCabin, we wish you safe travels back home to Tel Aviv. Let's get caught up again soon. Thank you
Appreciate
again.
it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
More to come on our AutoVision News LinkedIn page from InCabin here in Phoenix. From the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts, Carl Anthony, AutoVision News.